Hello, mysterious person behind the screen.
Hello, mysterious person behind the screen, and welcome to the final part of our Cornetto Trilogy commentaries with The World's End. So, without further ado.
If you'd like to sync this up with your own Blu-ray copy of The World's End, put the film to the start and press play in 3, 2, 1, go. Now, the great thing about this film is that when it came out, I was old enough to see it in the cinemas. I was 15.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. It was a 15 then. That's interesting, because isn't the Blu-ray an 18?
No, the Blu-ray for World's End is a 15. It's
okay.
Hot Fuzz that's got the 18 rating. I don't know why.
Right, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, makes sense.
Now, this opening here, if you search side by side The World's End, it's literally the events of the film, and I think Edgar Wright has seen that video and said, awesome stuff.
That's cool. Yes, I think I've heard of that one. It's again, it's going right back to the beginning of the trilogy with Shaun of the Dead. It's that same use of complete foreshadowing of the entire events of the film. It's great. It's really cleverly done.
And also, each of the 5 members, they have their surname is reflective of their personality, but also roles in a castle. For example, Oliver Chamberlain. A Chamberlain is someone who deals with all the business in the castle. Oliver's a businessman. Yeah. Page is basically someone who's training to be a knight or something like that. And as Gary says, Peter's the baby of the group. Prince, obviously, it's kind of a rivalry to a king, second in command, which is what Stephen is. He's kind of a rival to Gary. And Knightley, obviously it's a knight, and a knight is sworn to protect and defend the king, which is kind of what happens at the end when Andy's running after Gary. And, just perfect names.
Yeah, I've never caught on to that before. That's a really cool, that's a really great point, actually. It's that, again, it's that type of, extra thought that really goes into these films. It's definitely say it every time, but it's just the amount of details in each one. It's impossible to catch first viewing. And yeah, that name thing's really cool.
It is, yeah, and every pub is a reference to an event that happens in the film.
Yeah.
The First Post, it's the first pub they go to. Old Familiar, it looks like the First Post. Famous Cock, Gary's a cock because he's been barred from it.
Yep.
Cross Hands, they have their first fight with the Blanks. Good Companions, I think, is next. Because if you look at the mask of that, it's 4 unhappy masks and 1 happy mask, meaning Gary's the only one who wants to do the crawl. Trusty Servant refers to the Reverend Green. Two-Headed Dog refers to the twins. The Mermaid, I think it refers to Sam or something like that. But the Beehive, they get attacked by a swarm of blanks, like bees do. King's Head, Gary's knocked out in that pub, and obviously he's Gary King. Hole in the Wall, Stephen drives a hole in the wall. World's End, the world obviously ends there.
Again, it's just the detail in this is just completely insane. And even now, when they go to the hills, and when Gary says life would never feel this good, you can see the shooting star, which is supposed to be the network. Yeah, I've noticed that feature. It's quite subtle. Like, it's not. It's not something that you'd really pick up on, but when somebody points it out, it makes perfect sense. It's great. It's so cool.
I think out of the 3 films, this is the one that creeps up on everyone, because I remember when I first watched it, I liked it, but I felt it was a step down from Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. But the more I watch it, the more I think it's my favourite. Most
people did think it was a step down, I think. Like, it's by far the least popular of the 3. It doesn't get talked about in as much as the other 2, and I think but as the years have gone on, like you say, it does have this it grows on you, and I think when people realise what it's actually doing, because it's a story about alien invasion, but it's also it's
someone who doesn't want to grow up. It's someone who's stuck in the past and someone who's so insecure within himself and doesn't want anything to change. And that's the story. Yeah.
I just noticed that one guy in the circle who said to Gary, "Are you sad that you didn't finish the World's End? That finish the Golden Mile? So does the world end and we're sent back to the Dark Ages because that one guy inspired Gary
essentially
to finish the Golden Mile?"
Yeah.
And this montage is great. You get to see how all the other 4 members, you can see their big shots. They're living in big houses. They're in big businesses. And you see Gary in just his teeny tiny room putting on pretty much the shabbiest clothes ever. And yeah, it's perfectly shows that all these guys have got on with their lives, whereas Gary is still basically the mind of an 18-year-old.
It's incredible, yeah. It really is incredible. And the fact that he's the only one wearing the exact same clothes that he wore when he was 18.
Yeah, in fact, what I find hilarious is that he goes to all that effort of wearing the same clothes, going in the same car, having the map of the Golden Mile, but he gets the date fucking wrong.
Yeah.
Because it happens in June, but he says, this is October.
Yeah.
And also, he, with each of the 4 friends, he recruits them in order of how easy they are to bring along.
Yeah.
Peter's easy because he idolizes Gary and thinks he's awesome, and Peter was bullied at school, so Gary takes him under his wing. So he's the one that he's the kind of guy everyone wants to hang around with at school.
Yeah.
Stephen's second because he kind of misses that rivalry with Gary. Oliver's quite hard to persuade because he's a lightweight, and Andy because of the accident.
Yeah, no, the interplay and the structure of these guys is I think it's the glue that holds the film together.
Definitely, yeah.
If you didn't have these, because it's a fascinating relationship that I think is so common. With there's always that one member of the friend group that just refuses to change, and you get that like all throughout your life, I think.
Yeah, there's plenty of people that you knew at high school who just they were so popular. All the lads wanted to hang around with, all the girls wanted to go out with, but what are they doing now in their lives? They peaked too early.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it.
I know Edgar Wright describes Stephen as the George Harrison of the group, like the second most good-looking.
It's so we spoke about this last time, but the Gary King is so just worlds apart from Nicholas Angel. Like it's such a contrast.
We said Gary King is the sort of person Nicholas Angel would probably arrest.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a testament to Simon Pegg's abilities as an actor that he can play both roles, and it's just starkly different characters. But he does
I think
so well.
it's because I remember maybe that's what threw some people off about it when they first watched it, because 2 films in, you expect Simon Pegg to play the straight man and Nick Frost the idiot, but now it's the other way around.
It's reversed, yeah, and it's a brilliant reversal, and it's a nice way of ending this trilogy.
Yeah, and I think that's great because going into the 3rd film, they could have had the danger of just repeating themselves again.
Yeah, definitely.
For example, Gary King, if he was like, say, Nicholas Angel or Sean, it could have just been another repeat, but no, they go the complete 180, and I think it works tremendously.
Yeah, exactly. It's a tremendous close to some of those themes that were established in the other 2. What's bike slang for?
Rafe Spall here, making his third appearance in all 3 films. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's back at the end when the world ends and
he
the
pops
blank
up,
Oliver's
yeah.
showing around people a new home. Apparently, Oliver is based on someone Edgar Wright knew at school.
Really?
One of his friends who was one of the first people he knew to own a mobile phone, which was one of those brick things.
Oh, yeah. Nokia brick.
Yeah. And I think he may have gone out with his younger sister or something like that. What I like about the whole accident thing is that it's mentioned a lot. Like, the details aren't there, but then... And you assume that they're never going to speak about it, but then in the smokehouse, Andy just says, "How about that time in 1997 where you OD'd and you made a miraculous fucking recovery, leaving me to get arrested after 12 hours of life-saving surgery?"
Yeah.
When I first watched it, I didn't clock on that was the accident.
A lot of people don't. A lot of people like it because the film is kind of. There's something about this film where it comes at you in such quick fragments. It's difficult to kind of pin everything together. And I know a lot of people are thrown off by the tone shift in the middle, where it stops being one thing and becomes something entirely different. That throws a lot of people off when the blanks turn up.
Yeah, it doesn't throw me off because even in a film like Shaun of the Dead, they do discuss at the end suicide rather than becoming a zombie.
Yeah.
And here it's kind of similar because Gary's literally a suicide patient on the run.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's a testament to Nick Frost as well, because as we see Andy in these early parts of the film, I mean, compare him to Ed, it's just like this is just it's unbelievable. This is the same actor. It's such a different character.
I'm imagining the other Simon Pegg characters. I think Andy would probably be good friends with Nicholas Angel.
I think so, yeah.
They're both hard workers. Also, that line there, "No, I don't need to check with my missus." And again,
yeah,
it's a nice setup at the end because at the end it's revealed that she left him.
The big cancer. There's some cracking lines in this. There's like, it's probably on balance. It might be the least funny of the three, but there's some cracking lines in it.
Yeah. I think it's got the best drunk acting I've ever seen in a film because
oh god, yeah,
so many people overplay it. Like they pretty much drag themselves on the floor that they can't walk, and I'm like,
yeah,
I've had most I've had in a night is like 5 or 6 pints, and it's pretty accurate to how these guys do it.
Yeah, for sure. They play it so well, and it's very understated, which is then a nice juxtaposition to what happens later when it all kicks off and it goes insane.
And also, every blank is wearing blue. Or every person who becomes a blank, like Peter and Oliver, are wearing blue.
Very true.
And Stephen's got a red shirt on, and Sam is dressed in red as well, which red is the colour of love.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
And if you look, when Gary pulls up, he's the only one who doesn't have luggage, so... Not to get too dark, but I think had he finished the Golden Mile and the world hadn't ended, he probably would have ended his life right there because, as he said, things never got better than that night.
That's it. I honestly think he would have. I think that's probably his plan, to be honest. I think the whole thing is just this... And it's so tragic because this character is someone who's clearly got issues, and everything. Like I said, everything you never got better than that night, and it's sad. It really is sad. It's incredibly done. It really is.
And him describing the Beast there, like saying, I've had to replace all this, this, and this. Other than that, it's the same old motor.
Yeah.
It's kind of the mentality of the network. Like, they replace everything about you, but you still look the same.
You still look the same, yeah. It's a great point. To be fair, that happened. Like, me and my group of friends, they had this car, like, when we finished school and into college. Obviously, they couldn't drive yet, but they had the car, and then when they all learned to drive, they had this big thing. It was like going to be the car that lasts till we're in our 40s or whatever, and it caught fire 2 years later. literally caught fire because they'd made like these really dodgy modifications to it. I remember at the time thinking this is not a good idea, and yeah, sure enough, yeah.
Ali Considine is going to be in the upcoming Game of Thrones prequel.
Oh, is he?
Oh, yeah, nice. He's playing one of the old kings, which I'm really looking forward to. And Matt Smith's in it.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah, I saw the promo picture with him with the blonde hair. Yeah. I mean, it's got to be better than Morbius. Morbius might end up being really good, but like, I'm seeing nothing promising.
Yep.
And again, the arcade machine as well. It's just like a. It's so he's so distant from the rest of them in pretty much every way.
Yeah.
Tonight we paint it red. Yeah, that's
literally.
Yeah, exactly.
If I ever get pulled over by the police in my car, I might actually use that line. Was the music too loud?
Yeah. Was the music too loud?
Reference he just did there. He was like, I did it all in the services.
Yeah. It's all in my sports bag. I love it. I've always loved that line delivery.
Sports bag.
I love it. These scenes in the car are so claustrophobic as well. Like, you can feel the frustration of everyone.
You can, yeah.
It's just, it's brilliantly directed.
Yeah, that copper says, "Don't make too much mess," and then at the end, when he takes Peter, he says, "I'm very disappointed in you, Peter."
Yes, yeah.
He makes a mess of Shane Hawkins. Yeah, lines like that are great. We're here to get annihilated, and who? I mean, we'd follow Gary King into oblivion if we would, and that's literally what happens at the end of the film.
It's such a great bit of foreshadowing. It really is good. Julia Deakin here making her third appearance in the trilogy.
Yep. I think Simon Pegg said they drank so much lager, and I don't think any of them are big drinkers of it, because when they first started, they said, "Oh, it's horrible." But I think a couple of months into filming, a couple of weeks, they were like, "Yep, get used to the taste."
Yeah, exactly.
I can't stand lager either. It's horrible.
No, I mean, to be honest, when you do this, when you do a kind of film like this, I imagine you do just get used to that, to like, especially if you're like a method actor, you would. Oh God, can you imagine a method actor doing this? Christ.
Daniel Day-Lewis, I drank 12 pints every day to figure out what it was like to be one of those drunken idiots.
Well, you hear that sometimes, don't you? Like, you hear, do you remember when Gary Oldman played Churchill? And it was like, he was like, "Oh yeah, I got serious nicotine poisoning," and it's like, well, there are fake cigarettes for these things, surely, like fake cigars. This could have been avoided, surely.
And Joaquin Phoenix for the Joker. They were willing to give him like a diet plan so he could get down to be really skinny, but he just said, "Nah, I'm just gonna eat an apple a day for like a month."
Yes, I heard that. Yeah. It's just so. I mean, I admire the dedication to the craft, but at the end of the day, there must be easier ways of doing things.
Yeah. Here's a fun fact about the pub landlord in this one and in the second pub. Apparently, those actors are cousins.
Oh, really? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Welcome to all good-hearted people. It's an interesting little.
These first two pubs, it's a very Doctor Who way of reusing sets.
Yes, it's
Put a small explanation in the script of why they look the same.
Yeah, exactly.
It's called The Old Familiar, so it looks like the first post, so that's all right.
Yeah.
Stephen there mentions Starbucks, and man, it's happening everywhere. And yeah, it's so annoying how Starbucks is everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And the way Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright describe the network is like an intergalactic Starbucks, someone who wants to implant themselves and their image and their ethos everywhere.
It literally is everywhere. Like, you can't. That and Costa, it's ridiculous.
I remember Little Britain, USA, they did a pretty funny sketch on Starbucks. So, next to our Starbucks, we're going to have the most genius thing ever, another Starbucks.
Yeah.
And also, if you had one Starbucks, but you're craving that next one, you can walk across the street to another Starbucks, where inside you can find a mini bar that has a Starbucks.
Yeah.
I love that. Drinking fucking rain.
I relate to that so much because I don't drink, so like that is literally every time I'm with people on a night out, it's that montage of just pint, water. That's just me.
I'm like that. People are like pint. I'm just like, sorry, can I have a Diet Coke, please? Yeah. They're just like, what?
Literally, yeah, same. That's interesting. Like, not very PC. Get out the 90s. That's like...
Oh yeah, Andy being a rugby player in his youth. Was Nick Frost a rugby player as well?
I don't know. May have been.
Mm-hmm.
May have been.
Yeah. It's just a small thing, but when he starts telling that story, you can just see Andy put his hand over his face like, oh my
God.
Yeah. I say that all the time when I'm in the pub. Drink up, let's boo-boo.
Let's boo-boo.
Mm-hmm.
The old familiar.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, all the pub names in this are just proper classic pub names. That's the thing. It's like they don't cheat with it.
I swear I've walked by some pubs that have had these names, like the King's Head, the Hole in the Wall, I think I've passed. And I may have passed a pub called the World's End once.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. They do not cheat with the names. They are perfectly classic pub names. That's just, and that's admirable, because they could have been quite lazy with it and just...
Mm-hmm. And also in every pub there is a number based on which number pub it is.
Yeah.
It would be really, really sad. Later on, when Sam rescues them in the car, she says, "Yeah, okay, but I got lost on the ring road."
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The whole Sam thing, again, it's so like, you just know these people. It's so incredibly relatable.
Yeah. We've definitely had those conversations with our mates saying, "I saw her first."
Yes.
Yeah, you can't override the rule of Bagsy.
No, yes, yeah.
when you're a teenager or a kid.
The rules of Bagsies. That's just the way it works.
And of course, Rosamund Pike is the second Bond actor in this, because we've got Pierce Brosnan, obviously. She was in Die Another Day, wasn't she?
That's it, and it's her Bond as well, Pierce Brosnan. So
yeah, and that's supposed to be her former teacher.
Yeah. Oh, he's such a lech. Gary is like, he's such a.
But he's one of those. He's one of those people who you'd take round to your friend's house and your mum would be like, he's such a good lad.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Probably one of those lads that your parents would like more than you.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
They'd be like, "Why can't you be that cool?"
And the soundtrack is like perfectly used in all the films, but in this one is just the fact that it remains a part of the era that they grew up in is perfect. It's an absolutely perfect.
True. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With a bit of rewriting, and because David Bradley's in this, you could see this as a first Doctor adventure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Do you recall the events of 22nd of June 1990, my dear fellow?
And meet with the famous cock.
Why do you think I drink with this crazy straw? It is not so crazy now, is it, my boy? Funnily enough, 2013, David Bradley, his character on Game of Thrones, he was probably hated by the Game of Thrones community, but loved by Doctor Who fans, because obviously it was the year he was the first Doctor.
Yeah. He David Bradley's great. Like he pops up in so many things. Even
true.
now, and he's not he's getting on a bit, and he's still going. He's still kicking, and that's great, I think.
Because I think if you go back to the opening montage of the original Golden Mile, I think they're all the same pub landlords, and you're like, wow, 23 years and they stayed there. But actually, yeah, they're probably blanks.
Oh yeah, blanks. Yeah, of course.
Of
course. Yeah, you're right.
And the first three pubs show also that thing of selective memories, which the blanks would have, because the first two landlords don't remember him. The third one does, because he says, "You're bad."
Absolutely, yeah. It's like the
missed opportunity. I was just going to say, Andy's eating chips. He really should have been eating a mint cornetto.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. Because the cornetto, it's almost a bit of an afterthought, really, isn't it? In this one.
I think they said that was a bit deliberate.
Yeah.
Because now that it was established, I think they expected us to cram more cornettos in, but this one has the least references to a cornetto. I don't even think they say the word cornetto once. They just show the wrap-up at the end. Yeah.
And I love that for Gary, this is just about, like, he has to drink at each one. It's not. It's not.
Because Andy says, have them all in the next one for all I care.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, we've got to have one in everyone.
Laser surgery.
Apparently the name Shane Hawkins derives from, I think maybe Edgar Wright or Simon Pegg, one of the people who bullied them at school, was called Shane.
Yeah.
And hawk is a type of bird. It grabs other animals, smaller animals, and picks on them.
Yeah.
Kind of like what bullies do. Yeah, that line where he says, bottling up past trauma can lead to inadequate coping strategies in life. As if he's just remembered that from the circle he was in earlier.
That works as like a joke in and of itself, but when you actually know where the film's going and know what he has been through, it's like...
Yeah, because on first viewing you may think, oh, it's just Gary who probably has one speck of wisdom in him.
Yeah, exactly.
Nope.
You think the joke's going to end there, but it yeah.
I just find it hilarious how the other three, they were so engrossed in Peter's bullying experience that they didn't notice Gary get up, go to the bar, and bring back five shots.
Yeah. Gary King and the Enablers.
Mm-hmm. It's not the anniversary, Gary. We did this in June. It's October.
Yeah. Every year is the anniversary of a year.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
I love Oliver's reaction. Yeah, I'm going to go find Sam. Oliver's like, what?
Yeah, yeah.
And they said the main influence for the whole town being replaced by robots was derived from Invasion of the Body Snatchers and the old Quatermass serials as well.
It's very Body Snatchers, isn't it? It's very
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It's
I mean, if you want to go into Dot 2, it's very Android Invasion.
Yeah. And I love it so. It really is sad and tragic, just because it
Mm-hmm.
some people just never move on, and it's
That's true. Yeah.
it's like, because you look at I think certain places where you, like, I don't know, you had experiences when you were, I don't know, 10 years ago or something, and it's just like you get this sense of like nostalgic sadness anyway, because things have changed. But Gary is someone who is stuck in that, and he refuses to move past it like most people end up doing. That's the thing. He's just, yeah. And just that, like, I love how this film shows that, of like, when you see things that are bit like, you know, you see things that have been there for years and such, and it's you know, little quirks of the surroundings you're in, and it's just, yeah, it's so well done.
It is, yeah.
And that ties into the Blanks as well, like, you know, their whole shtick, and the setting they've chosen is like trying to keep something in a perpetual state. That, you know, they are the obstacles, really. They're Gary's obstacle. He can't move on, and the Blanks are representative of that.
Yeah. There's this guy here who's playing the Blank, he was only 16, I think, when he did this.
Oh, was he? Bloody hell. Looks older than that.
Mm-hmm. Because I think all the other Blanks that come in the toilet, I think they were all, like, professional stuntmen, but at quite a young age, yeah.
Yeah, he plays it so well. He's really good.
I love that. You don't want to do that. Plus, I love how they turn on the hairdryer, because it's a way of the Blanks not alerting anyone that they've taken over a human or something like that. In fact, if you wanted to go for the mint feel, the green feel of the Cornetto, the blood really should have been green.
Yeah, I thought.
Blue.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be like the thing early on, but. Fucking Bournemouth.
Fucking Bournemouth. And also that head that you see blink and eyes move, it was an animatronic, it wasn't a CGI effect.
Yeah,
it's really good.
It worked really well, yeah.
Just noticed that Oliver undoes his jacket, ready to fight.
Yeah, Oliver's the one ready to. Yeah.
And Pete's obviously the one who runs and hides. I mean, just to make more Dot 2 references, these could be Autons as well.
Yeah, they're very Auton-like. Yeah. This fight sequence is so well choreographed as well. Like, it's genuinely.
It is really well done.
Yeah.
In fact, in Hot Fuzz, I think there was a missed opportunity. They could have got Nicholas Courtney as one of the NWA,
Yeah,
called him the Colonel or something like that, because all of the sleepy villagers have an old colonel who fought in the war or something like
that
that.
would have been really cool, actually. And as we know, like Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright were big fans of Doctor Who, so yeah, this.
Well, Edgar Wright very nearly directed.
Yeah,
I think Rose of the new series. Russell T Davies wanted him, but I think he couldn't do it because he was doing Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, and it went to Keith Boak instead, didn't it? Which might not have been the best move, considering
and Keith Boak never worked.
Well, yeah,
never worked on Doctor Who again.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of that was
what was the reason for that?
Well, I think a lot of it was him clashing with Christopher Eccleston. Like that Keith Boak was one of the people that Eccleston did not like, because he was trying to, because he did the Aliens of London two-part as well, and he was trying to push for camp, like a lot stronger camp than what Eccleston wanted, which is why those two episodes are more
pretty juvenile.
Yeah, they're more outwardly comedic, and Eccleston was not comfortable with that type of broad comedy. So
that makes sense. Yeah,
and you can see it in his performance, I think, because he's excellent at, in throughout all of series 1, but when he's doing the comedy in those episodes in particular, he's just a bit. Like, you can see him acting. You can see him acting where the rest of the time he doesn't feel like he's acting, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
I mean, with RTD now coming back to Doctor Who, maybe Edgar Wright will finally be able to direct an episode, because I'd love for that to happen.
Oh, I would love it. I would absolutely love it. And yeah, this is the point in the film where it really does feel like everything's been sort of Frankenstein together. Like, the first half was like a standard comedy, and then now it's just taken a dive into a whole new direction.
But I think it still feels really natural, because Shaun of the Dead is quite like that as well, because the whole zombie apocalypse in the first act is in the background. It's very much like a romance drama, but then following day zombies have taken over.
Yeah, definitely.
Plus, you've got to give props to the extras as well who are playing the blanks, because their movements are really well choreographed, and you get the sense that they're all acting under orders from the network. The way they all look in unison at them and all walk and run down the street as well. It's really good. Is the companions? I always mix those two up.
Everyone's like, let's just get out of London.
Yeah, let's just get out of it back to London.
Yeah, to be fair, that's what I would want to do.
Yeah.
I've seen that policeman in something before. He looks very familiar.
Yeah, even he's seen robots that can take off their heads and are filled with blue blood, but he doesn't care. He just wants to finish the golden file.
Exactly. That's all he cares about.
And all the whenever they walk down the street together, they're always in the order of Osgap, which is what Edgar Wright calls it. So Oliver, Stephen, from the left, Oliver, Stephen, Gary, Andy, and Peter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's another good point. I love the perfectly in sync walking as well.
Yeah. Because even now the blanks, I think, are doing it. They're walking pretty much
Yeah.
in unison. Yeah, good companions. Gary's the only one who's looking happy. They're all looking miserable and sad.
Yeah.
I do wonder if Gary's a hospital patient or a mental health patient. Where did he get all the money from to pay for
Well,
this?
he probably stole
Actually,
it.
no. Yep, he's Gary King.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, this is one of my favourite sequences in the trilogy, I think, with this in sync to the music as they put down the glasses. Yeah.
I mean, whenever I was on a night out at uni, when I'd say I'd say we're having a good time, I'd have that song "Show Me to the Whiskey Bar" playing in my head. And from this point onwards, Oliver, next time we see him, Oliver is a blank.
Yes, this is the point, isn't it? This is the point
where
everything
he's
changes. Yeah.
Because in the opening he said, "0.6 put O-Man out of commission," literally.
Yeah. Yes. So it forced. Yes. Okay. Yeah. This is the point.
And Martin Freeman is great because there's just like there's small details in his performances that have changed, like him looking a lot happier. Also, his hair's neater as well, and he's got his birthmark back.
Yes. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. Martin Freeman's great. Like Martin Freeman is genuinely, like, he's one of my favorite actors. I just think he's fantastic. Like he manages to make it, he can make anything sound natural. Like he's such a naturalistic guy. Like he's brilliant.
Mm-hmm. I just realised we've got two doctors in this technically, because Reece Shearsmith's in it, who played Patrick Troughton in Adventure in Space and Time. No drug dealers anymore, probably because the network have turned it into a perfect village. And the good thing about the network is they're kind of a combination of the previous two threats, because they seem as mindless as the zombies.
Yeah.
There's a supernatural, otherworldly element to them, but they're also kind of as pretentious, you could say, as the NWA. They want to make everything perfect.
Exactly.
Despite the means being utterly horrific.
His impression of a robot there was very C-3PO. Have you seen? Have you seen Simon Pegg and Nick Frost's Star Wars sketch?
No, I haven't.
Oh, that's brilliant. That is brilliant. They play C-3PO and R2-D2. It's very funny.
Well, Simon Pegg is one of those few actors who's been in Star Wars and Star Trek.
Yeah.
And Doctor Who.
Doctor Who, yeah, he's the editor.
If you want to name the three biggest sci-fi properties in the world, it'd be Doctor Who, Star Wars, and Star Trek, definitely. And he's been in all three.
Nicholas Burns as well. We just missed. He is the racist that gets punched in Doctor Who.
Oh, is it? Where the
Yeah, he's the one next to Reece Shearsmith. He's the guy in Thin Ice.
Oh right, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he gets punched
in the face for being a racist. Nice. I like to think that's what Capaldi would do if he met the "Not My Doctor" movement.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Well, a certain YouTuber whose name rhymes with Go Peck, I'm sure you know who I mean.
Yep.
He claimed in a video that he recently met Peter Capaldi, and I'm like, if he fucking saw your YouTube channel, mate, he'd probably punch you in the face.
Oh god, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely would.
And if you notice, the blank Oliver doesn't seem to get drunk. He's perfectly fine.
Yeah. Oh, Mark Heap. I forget Mark Heap's in this.
Mm-hmm. I like how we're at the halfway point for the Golden Mile, and this guy repeats what Gary said to the pub landlord in the first pub who didn't recognise him. And it's almost as if the network is trying to, lure Gary in as if to say, we're not that bad. We can make you look young again. We can let you get pissed all you want.
Yeah.
Because Gary even says, I don't remember him being that friendly. I don't even know what a pronoun is.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. Plus, I love how Oliver just instantly gives a definition as if the network just looked that up. Mm-hmm.
Oh, crumbs. I love that recurring thing.
Oh, crumbs.
And yeah, just like I said earlier, the whole thing of like, you come back and everything's the same but sort of different. Like, it's just, it's so well done.
Mm-hmm. Now that's a hard shot to do with the whole mirror thing.
Oh yeah,
because
yeah.
if you do that, you can obviously see the camera.
It's like the mirror shot in Terminator 2, where it isn't a mirror. It's isn't it Linda Hamilton's twin? I think
It might have been.
So it's literally actors recreating the exact same shot on the other side of the wall, so it looks like a mirror. Oh, it's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the O-Man is now, and you can see it
because he says, "I think we should get away from the whole robots thing."
And you can see it with
as if to say, the network's not evil.
Yeah.
We want to make things better.
And with his hair as well, it's like everything's been like cleaned up.
Mm-hmm. Because I think earlier when the blank Oliver comes out of the toilet having just been replaced, you can hear a hairdryer in the background.
And again, it's another really well choreographed fight sequence with the twins.
Yeah. Plus, the way those twins run, it does kind of remind me a bit of how Robert Patrick ran as the T-1000 in Terminator 2.
I think that's intentional, or I hope it is.
Mm-hmm, definitely, yeah.
And it's almost an excuse for Gary to like live out like the badass action hero that he's always thought he was.
Mm-hmm.
I like that as well. Chuck a Suzuki.
Oh yeah. I love Gary's face. It's just like,
yeah. You might think this is because I've had 7 pints, but it's not.
Yeah. Well, that's a bit harsh. I love that line. There's nothing between me and Gary King, apart from a woman with feet for arms.
Yeah.
I love that line. Get your feet off her. It's got this film has got my favourite threats in a film ever. Like, I'll punch your fucking lights out, or fuck off, you big lamp.
Your big lamp. That's the best one. Your big lamp. Oh, it's so good. Honestly, it's quite a bleak film. When you actually like look at it and look at what's happening, it's fucking bleak. But it it's very good.
I still find it utterly hilarious.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
The animatronic
Nothing
head again.
suggesting in the last 3 minutes is better than Smashy Eggman.
Smashy Eggman.
Plus, if you look at his Bluetooth device in his ear, it flashes a lot as if he's receiving orders from the network.
Yeah. I love his arm goes through the door.
Yeah,
oh, brilliant.
Like, and because he's drunk, he probably doesn't feel that his hands are cut. Yeah, I don't get. I'm wondering, why is this called The Mermaid? Unless it refers to the marmalade sandwich.
Yeah. Unless it's
kind of like in the Little Mermaid, Ariel sings and Eric falls in love with her. I don't know.
That's true, yeah. Unless it's the girl that tries to seduce them, or the girls, I guess, that try to seduce them. Like Siren Song, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is.
I could be wrong, but
the redhead in the middle. I could be wrong, but I think she was a finalist on the Over the Rainbow
really?
reality TV show. Yeah, I think she came second or third to play Dorothy in the West End.
Ah, okay.
It's just me, dear boy.
It's me, you know. It's just me, dear boy. Oh, you fucking nitwit.
One of my favourite lines is, Andy, Gary, she's a blank. Don't be so judgmental.
It's so good.
Oh yeah, the song is Step Back in Time, which is what the network wants them to do, remind them of the past.
Exactly, and
so obviously they can get their DNA on file.
It's no coincidence they're all dressed like school children. That's the...
Yep. I mean, the fact that the network landed in 1990 is kind of reflective of the real world, because from the 90s onwards, technology just boomed.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Well, the advent of the internet just changed everything.
Yeah.
I wish David Bradley had more to do in this, because he gets sort of
true.
dispatched quite quickly after this, and I really wish we saw him more, because he's so good in it. His small role.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think I drink with this crazy straw?
With this crazy straw. It's such a good line delivery. I love it. I really love it.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole thing of the fact that it has your memories as well is really. It's a great sci-fi plot. That's the thing. It's like it's obviously taking inspiration from other sources, but it's a genuinely great story.
Yeah, and the fact that the replaced people are turned into pretty much compost heap or something like that, recycled. Yeah, that's a great sci-fi element as well. I mean, here's a fun fact. This when Adrian Keane says, "Hi Sam, how's life?" That's Bill Nighy's voice.
It is, yes, yeah. Good old Bill Nighy getting another.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's got to be intentional, surely.
Mm-hmm. Don't be so judgmental.
Yeah.
Oh, these idiots would fall for free girls in school uniform.
Yeah.
Hey, you wouldn't, am I right? Fuck yeah. That got a huge laugh in the cinema, I remember. Oh, as well. Adrian Keane was in that bar. Prick. Adrian Keane's dead. Oh.
Bermuda Rhombus and the Aquanazis. Oh, the lines in this are incredible.
Mm-hmm. We could end up dead in a field. Pete ends up dead in a field later.
Yeah.
That was Nicholas Angel. He probably knew he would know he's a blank.
Yeah, for sure.
But here it's Gary King. I like the new you.
Well, it's interesting you say this. It's like I wonder how this would change if you put Sean or Nicholas Angel in this scenario. Like, I find that interesting to think about.
I mean, if it was, say, Sean and Ed, it probably would be Ed who'd say, let's just finish the golden mile. If it was Nicholas Angel, it'd probably be kicking all the blanks' asses and blowing them to smithereens with a gun.
It's interesting as well, because you sort of, when you watch these close together, you realise how Shaun of the Dead was about somebody stuck in one part of life, refusing to move on and refusing to grow up, essentially. And this kind of brings that back around, with a very similar character in the form of Gary. And then in the middle we have Nicholas Angel, who is someone who has, like, grown up and taken responsibility for his own life. I find that interesting. Pierce Brosnan's so good.
And all this is not about taking sides, it's about cooperation.
Yeah.
think it's this shot coming up here where, for the first time, the viewer clearly sees his birthmarks back.
Yes.
Which is what Andy picks up on.
Yeah, exactly.
There's also other hints as well, because in the previous pub, I think Gary said, "You get on it, oh man," and obviously he hates that nickname, but he doesn't say anything about it.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, it's.
Yep, there it is.
He just gets the top of the head.
Yeah. I just love how he's mildly annoyed by it. It's just like, yes, Andy.
What the fuck?
Oh, that head looked painful, and I think his glasses lens has gone. It has,
yes, it has. I fucking hate this town. I love it.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, that's a shot from the opening montage where he just rips his shirt open.
Yes.
Again, things get mental in the beehive.
Yeah.
And also the floor looks like a beehive as well.
It does, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And it's very yellow as well.
And I guess it's, packed full of blanks, so it's like a beehive. a bit of a...
Well, yeah, because they're coming at like a swarm of bees.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, nice, that tiny-looking woman can pick up quite a stocky-looking guy like Pete.
Yeah.
All of that, the simple punch of the head, loses his pipe. Motherfucker!
Again, that's what he cares about. He cares about the pint. He doesn't care. He doesn't really care about anything else.
Yeah. The slow-mo. Oh man!
Yeah. It's like that awful slow motion in Doctor Who, Impossible Astronaut.
Oh man, I don't like that.
What are you doing? Saving your life.
No. Something Scott Pilgrim versus the World took the piss out of.
It literally is, yeah.
Yeah.
It literally is. I
think during an interview when he was promoting Scott Pilgrim, Edgar Wright said, "So what were your influences for making a superhero film?" And he said, "Oh yeah, I like the forgotten ones like Superman 3, Evil Superman. I love that."
Yeah, he's big influence by Richard Lester. And as I watched the Beatles films recently, like the ones directed by Richard Lester, and it's very very clear like the influence of those films on Edgar Wright's work. Just the energy with which the gags come at you. It's just like, this is you can see the influence.
A Hard Day's Night, that's the only one I've seen. A lot of it comes from the interactions between the four band members and also the dialogue as well.
Yeah.
Whereas, and two other films he directed were The Three and the Four Musketeers. Again, it's referenced in this film.
Yes, it is.
A lot of the humour from that actually comes from the slapstick and the insane stunts.
Yeah.
Well, how insane you can make stunts for the 1970s.
Yeah, definitely. Well,
interesting about those films, it led to the Salkind clause because Yeah, the cast and crew, they signed contracts under the pretense that it was a 3.5 hour epic and it was going to be one film. I think it was only when they got to the premiere that the film, the credits to the Three Musketeers started playing, and like a caption said, "The Musketeers will be back in the Four Musketeers." And I think the cast and crew were like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, they did. They didn't have a clue, did
You
they?
didn't tell us.
That's
Yeah, and they needed to be paid for a second film
Yeah.
if they technically did two. I love the way she delivers that. The whole free spirit in the disabled. It's cool when you're 17, but not when you're pushing 40.
Yeah. It's not all about that.
Oh yeah,
night.
it's not all about that night, isn't it? Yeah, because that's all that matters to him. Nothing got better
Nothing
for
got
him than
better.
that night.
We'll always have the disabled.
That's such a sleazy line. I love it.
Yeah, but it's played so heartfelt by the two of them that you genuinely
is,
like.
yeah.
You genuinely like think it's quite a nice moment.
Mm-hmm. Ah, the fence gag.
The
Here
fence
it
gag.
is.
No.
And there's a keep off the grass gag here because he knocks the sign over like in Hot Fuzz.
Yes, yeah. All you need is a swan.
Mm-hmm. No, imagine if there was a swan, a blank that had disguised itself as a swan. It's quite common in sci-fi to have a lot of lens flares, isn't it?
Yes.
And the scene's full of them.
I wonder if this is like a J.J. Abrams little dig.
Well, the opening of E.T.,
Oh,
any
yeah,
night
that's
scene
true.
in E.T., that's got a lot of
Yeah.
lens flares. It could be a reference to that as well.
I always thought he looked like the Joker in this because the lipstick on his
Oh,
the lipstick on
yeah.
his face.
Heck, this could be a Joker origin story.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely could.
Things never got better for that night for me. Now I got nothing left to lose. I got my scars by doing a pub crawl,
By doing
and
a
I
pub
never
crawl.
finished. Like a man, baby. Like a maybe.
Like a maybe.
I love the showing of the scars here when Andy says, "Show us your arm." And Andy's like, and Gary's like, "No, no, no." You think it's just him being stubborn or being a bit of a prick, but no, it's because if he shows his arm, it'll reveal that, he attempted suicide and
Yeah.
basically on the run from the hospital. He discharged himself.
We reenacted the knife game from Aliens.
Mm.
Why do I feel like that's a real story that Edgar Wright or Simon Pegg probably did?
I think it is.
It wouldn't
I think
surprise
it is
me.
because in the commentary, I think Simon Pegg says, "Yeah, me and Nick, we did try to reenact the
Yeah.
knife game from Aliens." Oh, that either one of those will do.
Yeah.
He's not sorry. It's just like, yeah, either one of those will do.
That could have been drawn on. What? Tattoos drawn on.
Yeah. The way he says that, it's like almost like a Bond villain.
Yeah.
Show us your arm.
Well, of course, Bill Pope shot this film, didn't he?
He did,
He's
yeah.
the director photographer on it. Was this his first? This was his first collaboration with Edgar Wright, was it?
I think so, yeah.
Because he did Baby Driver as well.
Because I keep laughing at how Pete finds King gay so funny.
Yeah.
Even when they're running and he's just starting to laugh at it again, that's honestly me when I've got a joke stuck in my head and I've got to do something else. I'm just like... It's like Mr. Burns when he remembers that crippled Irishman.
Yeah.
What was I laughing at? Yes, that crippled Irishman. Peter. No, what you need to say is Peter from The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Hello, Peter.
Poor Peter Parker. Actually, no, Peter here does have the same initials as Peter Parker. Peter Page.
Oh, yeah.
We are going to get to the world's end if it kills us. Where's Pete? When he watches it, and when he sees what the blanks do to you and one of his friends dies, he's just like, yeah, we can still do the crawl.
Yeah. And it's so cathartic when he actually... When he punches it, when he smashes his head, because it's just like... Well, it was set up earlier with the bullying thing. It's just... It's so cathartic watching this.
Yeah. That's why the blanks want to change him, because he gave in to, becoming a bully himself. Oh, I love that. I'll punch the fucking lights out. Oh yeah, now we finally see why they put their hands up on people's faces. It's how they change them.
It's a cool effect as well. It's a very cool effect.
Fucking leaving, and we're never coming back. And I love that. I'm going to knock you the fuck out. Yeah, I've been drinking. And there's their slogan there. We build, we improve, we perfect.
Yeah. And it's all in blue. Yeah, it's so well done.
It's in blue, and also the symbol, it looks like what you see on your mobile phone, the network thing. That statue comes to life. That feels very bit War of the Worlds, maybe.
Worlds, yeah.
I don't know.
The CG isn't the best on it, but it works. It's not important, really.
Yeah. Number 10. And here comes the fruit machine. The diddle-a-diddle-a.
Yes, there we go. And again, it's the pint. That's all he wants.
Yep. When Andy chases after him, there's a line that was cut when they get to the world's end. He says, Gary's like, "Why do you care?" And he's like, "Of course I fucking care."
Yeah.
But I got better. You didn't. You let me down, man. He's waited 23 years to put a cross through number 10.
Yeah. And this is where like the emotional core is just so well done.
I think it's brilliant, yeah.
And it really was overlooked by I think a lot of people.
Yeah. Now, if you look here, it's kind of hard to tell because it's dark, but I think when Gary runs into some blanks here, yeah, they're all the pub landlords there.
Yes.
That's a nice touch.
Yeah.
And I love the sound it makes as well. That what?
Yeah.
That's very sci-fi.
It's like a bowling ball when the head flies off.
Yeah. It doesn't even help him. He's still doing his pint. Just wow. Hole in the wall. Stephen literally drives through the wall.
Yeah. Also, the hole in the wall. You know, there was, you know, there was that smash in the bathroom wall earlier as well. Like
yeah.
That shot of Gary going through the window. That reminds me of the bit from Scott Pilgrim where he jumps out the window.
And I love how the World's End, it's situated in the middle of nowhere, because all the other pubs, they were pretty much part of the town. Here it's nowhere.
Yeah.
It's just a nice way to say the world is going to end here.
I want you. I want you inside me. Punch through the.
I love how the blue stuff just comes out of the mouth like blood would. It's just great. Like, cheers. Oh yeah, the sign there. Welcome, join our club. It's literally what the network wants to do to them all.
Yeah.
It's not my fault you brushed that car. I find that so tragic and funny at the same time.
And this is Gary King, like, trying to be as cool as he was back in the day, but really he's just the worst out of all of, like, he's just on the floor, like, crying because he can't, you know, it's so brilliantly done.
Yeah, and I love the line of, what is so special about the Golden Mile? It's all I've got.
Yeah. I just punched my wedding ring out of a robot's tummy.
It's all I've got.
Oh, it's so done.
That's the clip I point to when I say The World's End is the best of the Cornetto trilogy.
This is.
I think that. Yeah, here we.
This is absolutely, and that reveal of the bandages on his arm. That is one of the best. That is. It's just. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the peaks of the trilogy, I think.
Mm-hmm. Told me when to go to bed. Oh.
And the whole "I don't want to be sober." It's so.
Mm.
It was a big lie. It's just.
Mm. And typical in sci-fi films, the final scene is usually in an underground lair or something like that that's been hidden beneath the earth. In fact, the way the blanks light up, it's kind of like that parody The Simpsons did called The Bloodening, where those kids have psychic powers.
Yeah.
Actually, we prefer to stay. You're thinking about hurting us. Now you're thinking, I heard that shepherd's pie in my knickers. Honestly, this is one of my favourite moments in film history.
Yeah.
This is going to sound weird, but yeah, a drunk man talking to a shining light in the sky about how to err is human and how he should fuck off back to Legoland.
So,
it's probably one of my favourite film scenes ever.
It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what films are about. A drunk man talking to a big light.
Mm-hmm. I love at the end its final line is, "It's pointless arguing with you.
Yeah.
Fuck it." As if humanity's influence has crept into it.
I love they all have the same voice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The chance to be young
I love
again.
how it's broken with those three young women saying, "The chance to be young again."
And then bringing out the young Gary King. That is such a...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's the perfect stab of the knife and twist of the knife.
Yeah. There's a line that was cut where he says, "Oh my god, I'm so cute. I'd fuck me."
Yeah. And it's
the actor playing young Gary. He's taller than Simon Pegg, so I think Simon Pegg had to wear platform shoes.
This whole he's literally being confronted by the man he used to be, and he's having to literally destroy that.
Because he says, "Nah."
Yeah. No.
No. Oh, fuck
You
off,
big lamb. That's one of my favourite lines ever.
Mm-hmm. Well, I remember it's said in the documentary, they wrote to the BBFC to ask, how many times can we say the C word and get a 15 certificate? They said, you can say it 5 times in a light-hearted context, but if you say it in a way that references sexual violence, it could immediately be an 18.
That's it, yeah. If you say it like in an aggressive way, it's like, it's all like context, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. But he's my cock!
He's my cock!
Oh, thanks, man. Is the least civilized in the galaxy. It is our basic human right to be fuck-ups. And he has got a point. If you read the Bible, Adam and Eve were the first humans and they fucked up.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
To err is human, so... The fucking Three Musketeers.
Mm-hmm. So those two guys who say I'm human, is it because they're already perfect, or they've just avoided them for so long?
Yeah.
Because I think with Basil, it's I don't know how long for.
Nutball and the Shifty Twins. Oh, I love the band names in this.
Yeah. What happened to the empties? That's all out. So ask that.
That's all you want to ask me that.
Heck, this is pretty much what Davros does in Revelation of the Daleks.
Yeah, literally.
What does he do to those humans who aren't turned into Daleks? He pretty much turns them into fucking food. Oh, the Doctor should have said that. Can I just ask, Davros, what do you do to the ones who aren't Daleks? Alex, well, Doctor, famine was one of the major problems of the galaxy. You mean you turn a load of humans into fucking food? I fucking know what I fucking said. You're cute. May I say this to not my doctors and fandom menace? Just leave us to our own devices. Shut up!
Yeah.
Nobody's listening. Face it, mate. We are Doctor Who fans, and we don't like being told what to do.
Oh, it's so good.
And then he quotes the song, we want to be free, we want to get loaded, and we want to have a good time.
A wonderful bookend to the film. It's so good.
Yeah, because the film literally opens with that song.
Yeah. It's pointless arguing with you.
You'll be left to your own devices. Really? Yeah. Fuck it.
Fuck it.
Because Andy later says, I think they were right in a way. We can be a bad influence on the rest of the galaxy.
Yeah.
And when you see Blank Oliver walk by, he sticks his middle finger up. I love that. They fucked off, but they pretty much sent humanity back to the Dark Ages with no technology.
Literally, yeah. So they probably would have been just better off leaving it.
Yeah. I mean, it's common in sci-fi, obviously, to have apocalyptic events happen, so wouldn't feel right if they didn't do that. That is a gorgeous image of the pub blowing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hot orange light. And the sign on fire as well. Oh, thanks a lot.
Thanks a bunch.
Yeah, because they're probably the only ones who liked what the network was doing.
Same as before. Oh, I so wish he was in this more. He's so funny in it.
Mm-hmm. That looked painful. Probably doesn't feel it because of how drunk he is.
Got lost on the ring road.
And that big electromagnetic pulse is great as well. It's typical in sci-fi.
It's great. It's impressive destruction. Like it looks really good.
It is, yeah. It looks so. The scale of it's really good. Because I love the grey muted colours that we see when it's daytime. The fact that the world has now become basically a shithole more than it already is. Sent back to the Dark Ages. And again, they've now headed for the hills like they did earlier back in 1990.
Yeah. It's an impressive image, it really, and the bookend of them sat on the hill watching the Tyne.
Mm-hmm. Painted red.
Painted red, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I know. I wonder if that's a reference to Empire Strikes Back, another Star Wars film. I'm sorry. I know.
Yeah.
Just instead of saying I love you. Oh, there's to err is human, to forgive divine. Yeah. There's the quote in the background.
I think this is probably where the budget went. I think for the CGI, this is the best CG in the film.
Yeah. I love that image of the darkness going around planet Earth reflected in his glasses. It's a great image.
I love this. I love the statue like being like a scarecrow.
Yeah, it is. It's great. I'm glad he's back with the wife.
Yeah.
But I don't recall some processed food that I actually missed. Cue the cornetto.
Yeah.
I love how the Blank Oliver loses his head again.
Yeah.
And he's just become all mouth, like how Gary described him.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a cool guy, but he was really just all mouth.
I wonder if that's a reference to Shaun of the Dead there, with them walking like slowly walking like all in unison. That must be like to the opening of Shaun of the Dead with the. Picked up where the other one left off. Again, it's a...
Yeah. Earlier in the film, at the start, he was hiding behind the newspaper because he saw them fighting and didn't want to solve it, but he's now actively entertaining them.
Oh, it's just perfectly with the footage of them as kids again. Oh, it's so perfectly done. It really is.
Yeah. Now I wonder, the bartender refusing to serve the blanks, is that a reference to Star Wars when 3PO and R2 go into the canteen and the guy says, "Hey, we don't serve that kind here."
I'm almost positive.
Oh yeah, the blank Steven's got his guitar.
Yep.
This is very Mad Max, or with the big ugly bastards wearing war paint.
It's very Mad Max, isn't it? Yeah. Black bastards.
And again, this was foreshadowed by Andy when he said, "You think it's like there's nothing wrong with ordering a pint of water packed full of big ugly bastards wearing war paint. That takes confidence, my man. I'm talking balls." And this is what Gary does. He orders 5 waters.
From Donald Sumter.
Oh, is it?
Is it? I think it is, isn't it? It's Is that Donald Sumter?
I don't think it is. No.
Let's have a look. That looks a lot like him.
Could be.
Let's have a look. It's a great ending. It really is. It's just like...
Yeah. They call me the king, and he's in a pose like Aragorn from Return of the King.
Yeah.
They call me the king.
Oh no, it isn't.
Yeah,
that was... It looks like him though.
It did, yeah. So that was The World's End.
Yeah.
Honestly, still an amazing film from a terrific trilogy. I love it to pieces. It's the film that I think creeps up on everyone.
Absolutely. It really does. And you know, it's the reputation, I think, continues to grow every year.
Definitely, yeah.
Because I think people realise what it's doing more than anything. Like it's a story about alien invasion and all that. But really, yeah, I mean, like we've spoken about it, the thing that I think makes everyone come back to it is the story of Gary King and how tragic that is.
Yeah. Yep.
But also really funny as well. I think that's the thing, and it's a shame it's known as the bad egg of the three.
Yeah.
Because
but as you said, I think its reputation has definitely
for sure
improved over time. Yeah.
For sure. No, it's Kelly and Stacey, named after the actresses.
Oh,
Ken
nice.
Bones. I got him confused with the general from Doctor Who.
Yeah.
That's him.
Oh yeah, it is the general.
It is the general. I got
yeah.
him confused with Rassilon in the same story. That's it. There we go.
Well, Donald Sumter is also in The Wheel in Space and The Sea Devils.
He is, yes, yeah. Yeah, no, he's a good actor. He's a good actor. But yeah, it's interesting because it's the one I've watched the least.
Oh, it's probably the one I've watched the most.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Yeah, because yeah, I just love the camaraderie between the
Yeah.
five main actors. Yeah, I love the story, and again, it's like going to a big party
Oh,
where
yeah.
you have fun, you get into a fight, then you sit down and have serious conversations about your life. Like, you need help, mate.
You need help. That's it. That's it. I mean,
Then it ends with the granddaddy of all hangovers.
yeah. Yeah, well, that's a good metaphor actually. Like, because it definitely it mirrors how those nights often go. Like you say, having like meaningful conversations towards the end of the night. It mirrors it very, very well. Yeah, it's the end to a pretty much a perfect trilogy.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite film trilogy of all time.
It's incredible. And how rewatchable they all are. That says it all. Like, they are truly, truly fantastic films. And I don't think I've never met anyone who doesn't like at least one of them. There's I know
a few people who are like, oh, I didn't like this film or this film, but I've never met anyone who dislikes all three. And if you are that person and you've been listening to all these commentaries, I'm very curious to hear why you don't like any of them.
Well, if you are that person and you've listened all the way through these and indeed are listening to the credits, why?
Yeah.
I mean, thank you, but why? But yeah, no, I'd be interested to hear actually as well. Because I think I showed this to my granddad, and he ended it. He was like, I can't believe human beings get the budget to make shit like that. He just hated it. He was just.
I showed my parents Hot Fuzz once, and they were just like, oh, I didn't think that was funny.
Oh, really?
Like,
that's quite surprising, because Hot Fuzz is the one that's I think is the most like a crowd pleaser.
Definitely.
That's quite surprising, actually. But
yeah, Hot Fuzz is probably the one anyone could get into, because
definitely.
People might be put off Shaun of the Dead and the World's End because of the horror and sci-fi elements.
Yes.
But yeah, people may love Hot Fuzz the most because it is pretty accessible, I think.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, a wonderful trilogy and a great film to end it. So that's the end of the Cornetto Trilogy, or Blood and Ice Cream Trilogy, or Three Flavors Cornetto Trilogy commentaries. What are we going to be moving on to next?
We will be moving to the world of animation, where we will be doing commentaries for all 4 Toy Story films.
You know, it still feels weird to say all 4 Toy Story films.
Yeah.
Because in my head, it's still like, wait, 4? But yeah, no. So yeah, we'll be moving on to the Toy Story quadrilogy next time. So definitely look forward to that. It'll only be our second animated film, I think, because we did Spider-Verse. So yeah, it'll be our second animated film, so it should be pretty fun. So look forward to that. In the meantime, go subscribe to Isaac's channel and check out all our other commentaries in the playlist linked below and on my channel. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the commentary, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.